Hello everyone. Well, I say everyone, it's my first proper vlog, so there might just be one person that ever watches it. I've done a couple of sort of semi-vlogs when I broke my Achilles a year ago, which was more sort of audience targeted about people that had done the same sort of thing. But this time it's my first time I've actually trying to put a video together after a really great adventure that I had up in Scotland a couple of weeks ago. I've really enjoyed some of the vlogs and the adventures that I see people like Murray from Scotland Mountains and Paul Messner videos I particularly like. If I learn how to put up these sort of links there or there, then I'll of course put it up. But I get so much enjoyment out of watching those channels that I thought, well, I'll have a go at putting this little adventure that I did a couple of weeks ago onto video. It was a great adventure. I climbed up Lochnagar, did a summit camp, and then had very changeable weather during the evening where the tent really started flapping around, and it was a reasonably sleepless night, but I was well protected. And then till zero visibility beginning of the descent down, and then eventually broke cloud again to some incredible views as I made my way back to the car park and the car. I haven't looked at all the footage quite yet, so there may be additional soundtracks over the top, because at times it was very windy, and I was only using this phone that actually I'm filming with now. And I don't know how the wind caught the microphone, so I might have to do a few voiceovers here and there. But it's a first attempt. I've got another few videos and a stack of pictures from a trip that I did. Well, really fortunate to go to Cape Town, South Africa, where I did a couple of walks, and I was actually taken on a very wild fishing expedition as well, in which I did a lot of photos and some, I say, great drone photography, because I actually crashed my drone and it took us ages to find it, and it was quite scary because it was let's say in the bush that had some reasonably interesting wildlife that we needed to avoid whilst we searched for the drone. But anyway, I'm digressing. That is a different video to come up. So the important thing is it's a first attempt, really. I'd really appreciate some feedback, top tips from any of you regular vloggers. I'm not doing it really to just get a ton of subscribers. I'm doing it because I enjoyed it, and I know how much I enjoy watching other people's channels, and maybe just to, again, get people to buy a tent, get people wild camping, and to enjoy themselves. I'm 53, just turned 53, and I'm really just starting to relive my youth. So I'll leave this for now. Probably be a few more voiceovers, as I say, but see how you enjoy the video. Thanks. And I'm toying between using my Hilleberg Sulu, which I like, but it's very heavy, and I don't think the weather conditions are going to be extreme enough really to warrant this. And I'm quite pleased with my Wild Country Zephyrus 2. Gives a little bit more storage space inside as well, and sleeping space, and it's a little bit lighter. I wouldn't use this when it's well, certainly not for winter camping, but we're late summer here, just turning into autumn, and fingers crossed it shouldn't be too windy. So I'm going to actually take this one. Well, we're pretty much there, really. Got everything laid out. I won't go through things in turn. If you've got any questions, just subscribe and ask a question. I always take binoculars with me. I do like to see the wildlife if possible, hoping to see possibly ptarmigan, mountain hare, and hopefully plenty of deer. I did want to show you this though, because I've been really pleased with this. Don't believe the price tag. I think you can get a couple for about 3 or 4 quid. It's got a hook that pulls out, and you can hang that on the inside of your tent. I won't shine it directly at the thing, but it's absolutely brilliant. It gives some light in your tent. It rotates so you can get it pointing in exactly the right direction, but you don't really need to point it anywhere. It just fills the tent with light. if you ever get to stay in a reasonable hotel or have some friends that do, then get them to steal the slippers. If you're caught short, well, you don't need to be caught short, but if you need a pee at night, they've got a hard sole on them. Don't need to put your walking boots on. Pop these on, and they weigh absolutely nothing. Well, my wife gets very annoyed with the amount of Tupperware that I insist we save, but I'll find a good use to it one day. Stoves today for the camp. I think I'm going to pick the MSR wind burner. It's a 1.8 litre, just that little bit bigger than the one in there, which I find with this you can both boil up water that'll give you enough for a freeze-dried, dehydrated meal and a drink. So it was just a case now of getting my food together. I really like these dehydrated meals that I get from America. I travel there quite a lot with work. Being from America, they tend to be quite large portions, and certainly for a camp, that's what you're after. And in the cutaway, you can see just get some little snacks together and ready to go. Well, in only about an hour, I was over the border into Scotland and finding myself winding my way up beyond Glasgow and eventually up into the Highlands as the terrain climbed. Fantastic views out of the car, up towards Braemar and Ballater, and then the long single track road to the Spittal of Glenmick. The car park was absolutely full, and I was a little worried that I was going to be sharing the walk with half the walking community, but it did turn out that there are an awful lot of walks that went from this particular car park, and for the whole walk I was very much on my own. I saw just a few people here and there, but the adventure was just about to begin. So I'm on my way. Sign here says Lochnagar, so I'm in the right neck of the woods, and I think I can just see the target ahead. Still cracking on, starting to steepen up now. Just met two fellas that were working on this path up to their elbows in muck and cut some bruises, replacing rocks. I just thought it's down to people like that that make these walks possible and keep these paths so well, they don't stand out so that they're a blot on the landscape, but they just pave the way and make it possible. And I'm really grateful to them. I think it was good to see them and to say thanks for what they do. They reckon I'm about an hour to go now. That's Meikle Pap. In the background, it's around the back of that, and then I think there's a bit of a scramble up to the top of the Corrie and Lochnagar, but nice ground. I think I'm in the shelter of the wind at the moment, but
the fellows down there that were working say that it's due to die down a bit, so I'm confident of a summit camp. See you later. Just a few yards off the path is this memorial. Bill Stewart, August the 16th, 1953. Can't quite read that from here because it's a little bit warm, but I'll take a picture of it and bring it up in one of the next shots when I get this lot all put together. Great place to be remembered.
I'd spotted on the map that just next to this memorial was a spring, so I took that opportunity to fill up my water carrier, because I think I had about another 3/4 of an hour to go. It was all climb. I know there was a boulder field and there was little chance of getting some water near the summit. It would have meant to have to drop down a few hundred yards once I got there to get to the nearest water, so I thought best take the opportunity while I'm here. So just as I reached the saddle between Meikle Pat and the beginning of the boulder field climb up to the southern edge of Lochnagar Corrie, it was time to take a few drone photos and some stills. There are two cairns on the Lochnagar Corrie, and I reached the first one, and then, as you can see on this last still, the summit of Lochnagar was ahead.
Well, there she is, at the top. Fantastic views all round. A bit weary with this thing on my back, but let's do the top. There we go. Whoa, good start. So this isn't one of those videos where people go and summit it and then pop the camera on the top and film them as though they were just doing it. This is the real deal. This is the actual summit. I have to put my hand down a couple of times. Of Lochnagar, first time I've ever done it. Hard working places there, especially with this on my back. The boulder field was quite special at times. Yeah, I didn't feel like getting the camera out much during that bit. There we go, sorry about the I didn't quite know what to expect in these last few feet. But there you go, it proves that you're getting the real thing. There we go, we're getting there. Oh, phew. Come up. Ouch, down. Oh, there's another one. And here is the can. Turn the camera around to give you a pano.
So the weather was clearing all the time, and the wind had calmed down, so I took the opportunity to use a bit of the light that was left before pitching my tent to go and take some pictures and to launch the drone.
sorry for the delay. I got very cold very quickly, so I pitched my tent pretty sharpish just down from the summit there, with amazing views. Might even get a bit of a sunset, but I'm going to crack on now, get everything sorted out and get some food on. Not a breath of wind, which is great. Bit of a sunset. Got my coffee, about to cook the main meal. Tent's all set up. I look ridiculous, but I'm warm. And fingers crossed, that should be quite a peaceful night.
Well, it was certainly a peaceful sunset. I enjoyed just sitting, taking plenty of pictures, watching the sun go down and getting my tent and all my sleeping gear ready. Can't quite get the hang of getting this Zephyrus 2 tent taut at both ends. I still can't work out how to put the end poles in. They are in correctly, but I just can't see how to get it taut from both sides. Maybe someone could put a comment down below. The kindly fell runner came along and took a couple of snaps at me standing by my tent before it was time to turn in for the night.
So we've got a little bit of order now. So it's down there, and then ready for a cosy night's sleep. Keep saying this is the last video, but just tucking in, very last bit, and chili mac, courtesy of, what's it called? Well, I'll rip the top off, who cares? Tasty anyway. Well, time to turn in. Cracking day. I'm just on top of my sleeping bag at the moment, feel very warm. That wind died right down, which is great. Full of food and just ready for a good night's sleep. I'll let you know how the night went.
We'll talk about changeable conditions. Tent's getting a bit of a rattle and it's raining pretty hard outside. Bit of a mixed sleep, not too bad. Lots of little sleeps, I'd say. About 4 p.m. 4 a.m. I put my earplugs in, because as you can hear the tent's got quite a rattle. And that settled things down a bit. It's 7 o'clock now, so not bad. It's a bit of a shame because although I'm just walking down today, I'd preferred dry weather to pack up my kit, so I'm going to sort of pack everything up from inside the tent, and then the last thing, just take the tent down, stuff it in my bag and make a move. But get some coffee on now. It was a bit of a morale booster to get the cooker on. Well, I think it really shows that you can't underestimate the weather. From such a peaceful night last night, where I sat out well beyond dark, just enjoying the quiet. It wasn't particularly cold, and this brewed up in the night. Luckily I had some earplugs that I popped in and made it a bit more bearable, because the rattle of the wind on the tent really is quite loud. But I'm very happy I've got my coffee. There's a nice little vestibule area in the tent that means I don't have to venture out, and the good thing is I don't have to be anywhere, well, particularly quickly today. And that's breakfast this morning. Mountain House, freeze-dried breakfast skillet, hash browns, scrambled eggs, pork sausage patty, peppers and onions.
2 servings because I'm greedy.
Well, once I'd got everything packed up, it was time to make my way down. Had to take a compass bearing from the first cairn to find the path that led down to Lochnagar, but once I found the path, it was pretty easy going. But most of it, for the first 20 minutes or so, was in cloud.
Well, I've broken the cloud line, which is good. Just got the valleys starting to open up now. Quite a steep downhill. This bit isn't too bad, but there's some falls just above the Royal House and the edge of the loch that will take my concentration a little bit. I just met 2 walkers on the way up. Feel sorry for them because they're not going to get any sort of the views that I got last night, and they'll be in the cloud layer. Well, now actually I only met them 5 minutes ago, and it's blowing a hoolie up there. It's calmed down nicely now. I don't know how much of that you can see, but prospects are looking good. And I'll, if I get anything particularly interesting to film on the way down, I'll get the camera out.
Well, it was only just a few more minutes of walking, and the sky cleared, and the view down the valley opened up, and I followed the path all the way down, steep at times, to the falls of Glasalt, and onwards to the woods and Glasalt Shield.
And it's all starting to come good. Look at that, there's the first sighting of Lochnagar, just as I descend down. It's looking great. I'm even warming up myself. But look at that. That's just fantastic. What a fantastic place. Those are the falls of Glasalt. Just there at the top of my hiking pole, there's the woods with the house buried in them. It's turning into a lovely day. I might even stop taking the views of it and brew up a cup of tea or something. I'll just find if there's a place next to the water out of this wind, else I'll cool down quite quickly. Right, on we go.
So I made my way down all the way to the edge of the woods, where I found a small stream, and it was time for refreshment.
I dehydrated some bananas, obviously not local bananas, but dehydrated those, and I picked a load of blackberries a few days ago and froze most of them. Kept a few by and dehydrated them, and that with a bit of custard powder, vacuum packed it. It's very tasty. And the longer it sits in the custard mix, the softer everything's getting. It's a good job because it's still too hot to eat properly. I'll get on with this and then get on my way. At the house. There's a bothy towards the rear. No one at home, so I don't think I'd be allowed to get this close. Look at what an outlook from the place.
So from Glasalt Shield, I followed the north bank of Lochnagar for about 3.5 miles before I began to see the woods and the forest. where my car was parked. And that was the end of a great adventure.
And back to where it all started. That's the road I went down on the way, and that's the way I've come back. And there's the sign. Oh, I'm back in my car, and what a walk that was. Just fantastic. Comfortably tired, but not overly so. I'm ready for the next part of the adventure, 3 days fishing. Very lucky. So I'll try and put this all together. My first attempt at a wild camp vlog, and we'll see how it goes.